Hello there, welcome to this, the third of our Rangers television video diaries. Now, as you can hear and see in the background just now, nothing ever stands still at the ground for very long. And because of all the on and off-field developments here at the club, we've brought out this, the third of our diaries, a bit earlier than normal. The reason for that is we've got so much to put in it already. Look at what's coming up, because first off, we look at the pre-season international tournament which happened here at the ground, involving Sampdoria, Steaua Bucharest and Tottenham Hotspur. As well as the football from that tournament, we also chat with team manager Walter Smith about the team's success in qualifying for the European Champions Cup. And we qualified for the Champions League with the help of one of our best buys ever. Way back in the close season months of May and June, heavy negotiations were going on with his former club to see if the rumours were true. Could it really be happening? Paul Gascoigne coming to Rangers. We take up the story way back in July.
The waiting came to an end when, in front of media from all over Europe, Paul Gascoigne finally became a Rangers player.
Well, the best thing we better do in front of all of you, just to make sure it's genuine, is if Paul would like to sign his Scottish Football League contract. A football league that is much maligned, but we believe in, Paul believes in, and I'm sure that it will get better. And it's a lot of faith in Scottish football that Paul is signing for the club today.
You know, Rangers have got some quality players. You know, I've got some good footsteps to follow. You think of the players that have come from here, from England as well. Souness, Wilkins, Mudgee, Butcher, Stevens, the other Stevens. They've got quality players, and the guys they've got as well are international players. The team's full of international players, and to be amongst them is great. And they can all play football as well.
The signing was a big moment for the club, but Walter Smith says a chance meeting sparked it off.
Well, the first time I met him was socially. We were on holiday in Florida, a place called Longboat Key, and I was passing down to go to the beach one day, and Stephen, my young boy, said, "There's Paul Gascoigne sitting there." And then later on in the afternoon they came down, and they were next to us on the beach. So as normal with two kids, they went over a guy's autograph and they just started talking, and we met him from there.
At that stage, the manager hadn't discussed the possibility of a move to Rangers with Paul. It was a conversation with the club chairman, David Murray, that was to raise the subject of a transfer.
And that came up in conversation with the chairman. I had mentioned that we would maybe need another midfield player this season, one that would give us a wee bit different from the players that we've had over the previous seasons. And then we just happened to be talking about it, and a couple of days later he phoned me up to say that an agent had been in touch with him asking if we would be interested in taking him, and what did I think. And it just gathered from there, and we met people at Lazio, chairman and I. Chairman agreed to fee with them. I went out to Rome and I met Paul myself, and we just had a chat for an hour or so, and he was keen to come to Rangers. There was a few complications, the financial side of him moving back into Britain again, which meant that we couldn't announce it or couldn't do anything, so that was a bit of a hang on, but we were always quite confident that he was going to join us.
Gaza quickly settled into the regime at Ibrox, striking up a rapport with the rest of the playing squad. That process was helped by the tremendous support given to him by the legions of Rangers fans.
What can I say? I mean, I can only get on my knees and pray to them and thank God they've given me the reception, and I will give them something in return. They've been absolutely fantastic, brilliant, and I can't fault them. And I just really like to thank them personally, one by one, that they've given me a new lease of life, and I really thank you for that. I just want to give them something that I've never hopefully give anyone before, and that's a bit of Gaza music.
Paul's first opportunity to show that potential came in the pre-season tournament between Rangers, Sampdoria, Tottenham Hotspur and Steaua Bucharest. Although the warm-up was light-hearted, Walter Smith was deadly serious about having a successful pre-season.
Well, the whole pre-season was important for us this year. We felt that we had to get everybody out onto the training pitch and get them a full pre-season, which in most cases we managed to do. The games themselves over in Denmark were important games for us. That was the start of it. I felt we did well there. They're quite difficult games to play. And when we came back, we were going to get a real test with the tournament, Steaua Bucharest and Sampdoria. The two teams we ended up playing there are high standard of team, Steaua Bucharest being in the Champions League and in the same section as ourselves. We had to play extremely well to get results there, as I said on the day, the Steaua Bucharest one, I felt flattered us a little bit. I felt they played very well on a Saturday, and we had to play at our best, and we had to defend extremely well against them. So, you know, that result that we got there was a result of good play, but still, at certain stages of the game, it could have gone the other way.
So it's Rangers against Steaua Bucharest. A great atmosphere inside Ibrox, and so important that the Ibrox team get off to a good start with so many important games and early games coming up. There he is, the centre of attention, Paul Gascoigne, the big summer signing. But it's also a chance for the fans to have a look at £1.5 million worth of Stephen Wright, signed from Aberdeen. The Romanians kick off. There's Vladoiu, testing out the Rangers' defence, but Andy Gorham picks that one up with not too many problems. Now here's what the supporters want to see. Touch for Gaza. Exchanging passes with Laudrup, last season's Player of the Year. Gaza may well be a rival this time round. But here's the Dane. Chance to cross. Mark Hateley was coming in. The cross just behind him. Cleared by Bucharest, resisting the early Rangers pressure. Robertson's throw with Laudrup again. So difficult to tie down. Robertson tries to win it back. Steaua get it clear. That was Lakatouche. And the touch from Gascoigne. Charlie Miller. Miller not looking overawed in any sense, alongside the expensive talents of Gascoigne. There's some cool defending. And Steaua with a patient build-up. And Rangers happy to let them have the ball and funnel back. Very much the continental approach, and something Rangers have had to adapt to in recent seasons, finding that the Scottish game won't necessarily work against the best in Europe. That was aimed at Vladoiu, but it's cut out. Gascoigne finding a couple of yards to make the pass for Wright. First time from Ian Ferguson. It's Laudrup. What can Rangers do here? Ferguson again. It's mishit. Hateley! Well, he certainly connected with the shot. Just off target. And that's the first sign of menace for Rangers in front of the Steaua goal. In from Laudrup, off the shin of Ian Ferguson. And Mark Hateley just off target. Steaua will be happy, soaking up the pressure. As the sun comes out at Ibrox, shirt sleeves crowd, and Marius Lakatouche in possession. Comes inside Charlie Miller. It's an intricate build-up at the edge of the box. Too intricate. Is possessed by Gascoigne. Evading a fairly hefty challenge there, and a lovely pass with the outside of the right foot for Wright. Ferguson, Laudrup and Stephen Wright. He's got pace. That's again cool and calm play in a dangerous situation from Steaua. Now here they are in attack, trying to work an opening. Here's Ely onto the right foot. Shooting opportunity, but no great problem for Andy Gorham. Not much pace on it, and well wide of the goal. Andy Gorham's kick out, aiming for the head of Mark Hateley, gets there. Now Laudrup. What can he do? There's the shot. Side netting. Just for a moment the Rangers fans thought that one was nestling in the back of the net. But that was a good effort from the Danish winger. Rangers fans, of course, expect so much from him now after all he delivered last time round. It's cut out by David Robertson, and back from Brian Reid to Gorham. Reid eager to make the most of this opportunity in the Rangers first team. Gaza just cushioned that on his head, away from Charlie Miller to David Robertson. Running into trouble off Lakatouche. So Robertson has the throw. Paul Gascoigne in a deep position, wanting to get the ball and make the play. It's a neat reverse pass for Laudrup. Quickly tackled though. It was fairly sharpish as well from Reid on Lacatouche. Right to Ferguson. It's Brian Laudrup. Onto his left foot, touches it back for Ian Ferguson. Charlie Miller goes chasing, looking for David Robertson, but that was a late tackle on Miller. Referee spotted it. Ken Clark from Paisley, and Rangers have a free kick almost at the corner flag. Taken quickly by Robertson. Gascoigne. They left a trail of defenders in his wake there. They just can't lay a finger on him. Not quite the end point to that one that Paul Gascoigne was looking for, but yeah, those Romanian defenders absolutely bemused. Good play by Miller, good in attack and good in defence. Looked like a late tackle again on Robertson. There's Richard Goff having a few words with Lacatouche, who was the offender. And Brian Reid will take the free kick. He's had a long time playing reserve football for Rangers. He would love to move up a level. Knocked down by Mark Hateley from Miller. It's a lovely reverse pass. Ian Ferguson, he's done it, and Rangers hit the front. Lovely move, and you can't ask for a better finish than that from Ian Ferguson. Beautifully spotted by Miller, and off the outside of the right foot. No problem. 1-0 Rangers. So how will Stour react to being one down? They'll have to step up their game a bit now. There's Laudrup. Nice touch, nice control on the left foot. Here's Lacatouche. Onto his left foot. And Laudrup, what a chance this is! Too high, he's disappointed. It looked as if it took a deflection on the way over, but he made himself the yard for the chance, and he might well have done better than that. Now here's McLaren. Walter Smith keen to persevere with a back three for Rangers this season, and this is a useful opportunity to give it a go. Mark Hateley underneath. There's a good head flick for Laudrup. Gascoigne's in the middle. And in from Laudrup, Gascoigne. His first goal at Ibrox. And the paying public love it. Hateley and Ferguson joining in the celebrations. And it was a slick move from Rangers. A head flick from Hateley. Laudrup just waited until it was under control. And he's not going to miss them from there, is he? 2-0 for Rangers. So the question is now, what will be the reaction from Stour? 2 down. They really have to come up with something if Rangers aren't to progress through to the final of their own tournament. There's the whistle for half-time. It's been a good 45 minutes for Rangers. Ian Ferguson scored number 1, and this man, Paul Gascoigne, knocked in number 2, and that's a comfortable lead at half-time. Hateley and Laudrup start the second half, and Rangers will be keen to keep up the pace of the game and add to the 2 goals they already have. They appear to be well on top of Steaua Bucharest. Plenty room for Lacatouche on the far side. He's the danger man. Rangers will know that well. But that cross, not finding any takers at the far post. And for the moment, the danger over for Rangers. Here's Alan McLaren. Ferguson, wearing the number 9, an unfamiliar number for him. Mark Hateley just heading the ball off the defender to make sure that was a Rangers throw. Stephen Wright takes it. Nice touch, nice control from Ian Ferguson. Good persistence from him. There's the cross. And there was a chance at the far post for Charlie Miller. feels he should have done better. But it dropped awkwardly for him. Interception by Stephen Wright. Seemed to be blocked out of that one, but Rangers have advantage. Laudrup, Haitley, number 3. Steaua Bucharest making the fatal mistake of giving Mark Haitley a few yards of room at the far post, and we've seen it so many times before. Laudrup just looked up and picked him out with this cross, and that was always going to be heading into the corner of the net. Rangers 3, Steaua Bucharest 0. Laudrup, he's had a fine match. The Romanian defenders know all about him. Gascoigne. Over the skill. Doing it all by himself. And in the end, just too much. And a fond embrace for goalkeepers to lay up. And the Rangers fans loved that bit of skill from Gascoigne. And so near to number 4. Here's Vladoiu. He's looked as dangerous as anyone for Steaua. Lakatouche. Vladoiu beaten by the crisp tackle from Goff. Still in possession, the Romanians. And that's not really going to trouble Andy Gorham too much. Gilsa with the shot as Paul Gascoigne takes his bow and heads off. 71 minutes of the match he's played, and that will do for him and for Walter Smith. And on comes Ali McCoist wearing 14. Keen to make an impression this season, having missed so much football in the last couple of years. Mark Haitley's head flick, finding no takers. Ian Ferguson tries his best, still with Steaua. He's the substitute, Rosu. Well, it was a shooting opportunity, but he didn't get too close to Andy Gorham, and he looks disgusted with the attempt. Now here come Rangers again. Haitley so dominant in the air. That's Dobos, and that's not a clever header. McCoist must be number 4, and it is. Ali loved that one, and it was really presented to him by a fairly disastrous backward header from Dobos. Ali wasn't going to pass up that opportunity. Well, the Romanians must now be looking forward with some relish to the final whistle. They've been vastly outplayed, and they're 4 goals down. Vladoiu making the run. Beaten at the edge of the box. Ian Durant was doing a bit too much, but he's eager to make up for it. And Stephen Wright in there too. The decision is a free kick to Steaua. Militaru is standing over the ball. Lakatouche there as well. Rangers all back behind the ball. Lakatouche. Cleared well by Rangers, not too much of a problem. Still there though with Lakatouche. Alan McLaren just polices that one behind. So many attacking ploys from Steaua have come to nothing. Credit to the Rangers defence in terms of how they've dealt with the threat. Alan McCoist's header picks out Cleland. The substitute's cross, it was aimed at Mark Haitley, but Stelea saw it coming and he was quickly off his line to catch the cross. There's the final whistle. Well, the Rangers fans, that must be better than they dared hope for. A goal for Ali McCoist, a total of 4, and Rangers into the final. Tottenham looking for the early goal against Sampdoria. That one breaks down though, and it's with Clarence Seedorf, the Italian side's expensive signing from Ajax during the summer, after winning a European Cup winners' medal with them. Here's Dumitrescu against his former team. Rosenthal crowded out there, dispossessed by Sampdoria. Here's Karambau on the attack. Seedorf, and again looking to thread this one through. It's Chiesa, and it's an easy goal. Right through the middle they went. There'll be an inquiry in the Tottenham defence about that, but Chiesa gets the first strike. Winners of this match, of course, will play Rangers in the final. And Sampdoria happy for the moment to protect their 1-goal lead. Seedorf always coming into the deep positions, looking to start a move. Now here's Mihailovic. Useful looking cross, but no one on the end of it. Maniero is in the middle. This is Balleri, and it's Maniero. Point blank header. And he looks to have made it safe for Sampdoria. That's them 2-0 up. Ili Dumitrescu comes across to take the corner. Bambi almost on the goal line. Spurs will look upon this as a decent opportunity to hit the lead. And the shot from Andy Turner, it took a deflection and it's in. Spurs are 1 up. There's Dumitrescu, involved in just about everything in an attacking sense for Spurs. He spotted the run from Kaski, and there's the finish. And what a start for Tottenham in the Ibrox sunshine, 2 up. A lot for Steaua Bucharest to do. There's Torstved, drops the cross, and it's Vladoiu who punishes the Norwegian goalkeeper for some bad handling. Tottenham trying to play out of defence. Too much on the ball there from Kaski. Here's Militaru, looking for some support, finds it in Lakatush, and it's Vladoiu again, and punishing some fairly sloppy defending, and that's 2-2. Lakatush running the show for Steaua. Nice 1-2, and it breaks for Militaru. What a finish that is. 3-2 they now lead in the 3rd place playoff. Out come the teams for the final. It's Rangers against Sampdoria. Great reception for both sides. And it's a first game at Ibrox for new signing Gordan Petric, who came from Dundee United. Ian Durant and Brian Laudrup get it started. And Gascoigne will be relishing this prospect of playing against the Italian side, having played in Serie A himself. McLaren in for Stuart McCall. Nicely played across the defence, everyone getting an early touch. Petric to McLaren. Trevor Stephen looking for the pass down the line, cut out. Gascoigne, that's a lovely pass. Perfectly weighted for Stephen. Laudrup is in support. Trevor Stephen goes it alone. Plucked out of the air by Walter Zenga, the former Italian international goalkeeper. We've seen already in this tournament that Sampdoria are more than patient in their build-up. Here's Karambau against Ian Durant. Breakdown in communication with Chiesa. Gascoigne's pass cut out, but it's play on, and Brian Laudrup has it. There's a lovely return pass from Durant with the outside of the right foot. That looked to be tugging on the sleeve of Laudrup from Manini. Free kick not given. Now Seedorf, managing to elude the challenge of Stuart McCall. Chiesa is making progress on the left, and that was the target for the Mihailovic pass. Well tackled though by Alan McLaren. No messing, no doubt about what his objective was there. Corner kick taken by Mihailovic. The header from Karambau, and that was well saved on the line by Andy Gorham, and then cleared by McLaren. Rangers under pressure. No such troubles for Gorham this time. Alec Cleland's racing away on the right. Brian Laudrup has it. It was aimed at Cleland, mopped up by Seedorf. Senga stays cool. Franceschetti. Karambau. It's Belleri. Trying to turn inside Ian Durant. Durant sticking to the task. And not too happy to have the free kick given against him. Karambau in. Looking for Maniero. Stephen to McCall. Durant wants it and gets it. And he eludes the challenge. Now it's Laudrup again, enjoying himself. Ian Durant had made the run, but it was well covered by Franceschetti. Laudrup strikes the corner. Good touch from Karambau, it was important. Trevor Stephen collects. Stuart McCall is one option. And there he is. Against Mihailovic. Back to Stephen. Out comes Zenga, beaten by Petric. Almost trouble for Sampdoria. Managed to clear it. Gascoigne always looks menacing with the ball at his feet. And Sampdoria knew all about him. It's Rossi, forced to turn back the way. Long ball from Mihailovic, but way off target. And Alec Cleland happy just to let that one run. Petric to McLaren. Ball waiting to, but playing in his customary midfield role. It's a good run from him. One tackle too many, and it was an illegal one, according to Jim McCluskey. Rangers with the free kick. Gascoigne strikes it, and it was an important touch there from Zenga. That certainly looked as if it was going to dip under the crossbar, and the keeper got an important hand to it. Sampdoria's turn to attack. It's ineffectual, and Ian Durant has it for Rangers. McCall looking for some movement up ahead, as ever. Brian Laudrup is willing. Gascoigne, plenty room to pick out the pass. Nice return from Jury to McCall. Struck it well. Zenga well positioned, as he had to be. Here's Mancini. So dangerous in the box, but occupying a deeper role at the moment. Karambau. Back from Chiesa. It's Belleri beaten in the tackle by Cleland. Signed along with Gary Boland from Dundee United last season. Battling for a place in the Rangers first team. That goes for so many. Mancini. Seedorf is there. That's him. Looking for the return pass. Chiesa takes a deflection and off the post. And a glaring miss from Mancini. He may have been offside anyway. But the shot going way wide. So still goalless in the final. It's hot out there and Rangers happy to slow it down. Petric. A lovely long ball for Trevor Stephen. Looking up to see what's in the middle. Gordon Jury. Jury strikes for Rangers. 1-0 up. Congratulated by Gascoigne. The fans, mixture of relief and delight that Rangers are ahead. Jury at the near post with the deadly finish. Stuart McCall sees Durant on the left. leaves it for Gascoigne. Rangers picking up the pace. Ian Durant seemed to be checked out a bit by Franceschetti, and Rangers have another free kick in a promising looking position. It's Petric. Struck it very well indeed, and another spectacular save from Zenga. Rangers now with so many options at free kicks. Last time it was Gaza, that time Petric. Stuart McCall busy in the midfield as ever. Brian Laudrup against Balleri, through the legs of the defender. Eventually cut out, but he is so menacing. Throw in taken quickly for Ian Durant. Petric to Laudrup. And again for the Dane. Looked as if he was going to cross left-footed. Defenders never know quite what he's going to do next. Richard Gough. Well, he doesn't score too many goals from that sort of position, and not likely to burst the net there. It's Gordon Petric doing the tidying up for Rangers. Maniero trying to get in the way. But Petric picks out McLaren. A loose one. Rossi intercepts. Mancini. It's Chiesa. Useful opportunity. And a great block by Andy Gorham. Perfect positioning there. Chiesa scored against Tottenham, and he was so close to his second of the tournament. Balleri on the run. Policed by Cleland. Back with Karambau. And Seedorf. Flick of the feet, and the pass was away. Mancini. Well, it was left by Maniero, but breakdown in communications. Now Rangers on the counter. Durant for Jury. Well tackled, but Rangers still have it. Durant to Stephen. Substitute McCoist. Paul Gascoigne tries to build another attack for Rangers. Ian Durant wants it. And McCoist turning his man, but the ball went harmlessly through to Zenga. Here's Rossi. Clarence Seedorf. Alan McLaren. Failing with the sliding tackle. This is good skill from Seedorf. And Goff's header looked as if it was heading for the corner, but Alan McLaren tidying up well. Franceschetti. Chiesa. That was aimed at Seedorf. Richard Gough again dominant in the central defence for Rangers. Nice touch inside from McCoist for Durant. Now Gordon Jury, lovely linking play from Rangers. But that was a blatant body check by Manini on Gordon Jury, and Rangers have the free kick. Taken quickly by Ian Durant for McCoist. Back with Gascoigne. Threaded through for Stuart McCall. It was a lovely pass. Just a touch too much, and Stuart McCall was nearly in on goal there. And McCall battling back to win possession. Gascoigne, just when he looked as if he'd done a bit too much, managed to hold on. Now Gaza again, trying to thread that one in with the outside of his foot. Looks as if he's tiring in the heat, but it was a lovely move from Rangers. The side foot pass from McCall, and you can see what Paul Gascoigne was attempting there. McCoist spraying the balls around in the midfield. Here's Ian Durant. Paul Gascoigne teasing Mancini. Now Stuart McCall. He'll pick up the pace. And there's McCoist for Trevor Stephen. That's a harmless one. Looking for someone to come in at the far post. Nobody there. Here's Cleland this time. Cleland hits the deck, claiming a free kick not given. Gascoigne. Rangers looking to add to their solitary goal so far, but Italian defence is notoriously difficult to break down. Rangers showing lots of patience. Gascoigne, of course, well used to what the Italians have to offer defensively. This is a lovely move. It's so difficult to shake off the ball. Incredible. Touch back from Durant to McCoist, and Trevor Stephen just slicing off the outside of his right boot. As Stephen looked as if he might get Rangers second. Fans are on their feet for that man, Paul Gascoigne. Sampdoria with Franceschetti and Carambau. Valeri, the fullback, loves to get forward. Away by McLaren. That was Chiesa. The volley from outside the box, never really got hold of it, and Gorham saved comfortably. Here's Durant, Stuart McCall, and Gascoigne. They're linking well, these three. It was Manini and Gascoigne. Free kick taken quickly by Sampdoria. Seedorf to Ivani. The flick from Chiesa. Maniero tries to collect. The two number 9s. Durant winning this battle. Nice touch from Stuart McCall to Cleland. And Chiesa again. What can they do from this position? Ivani. An attempt to lift it over the defence there by Mancini. Won back by Paul Gascoigne. Valeri didn't care for the Gascoigne challenge there, and I think had a few words in Italian which Gazza no doubt would have understood. Here's Ivani. It was a glancing header. Andy Gorham was scrambling across his goal, but eventually it went wide. Chiesa intercepts as Rangers trying to keep possession in the corner. Seedorf. Maniero. Looking for the top corner, and that was spectacular goalkeeping from Andy Gorham. He read it well, and he dived to his left. Not only stopped it, but held it. So Sampdoria having a good spell. They'd love to pull the goal back and really make this final interesting. And Rangers, on the other hand, would like to kill it off. McCoist to Jury. And Ali McCoist. Well, that's disappointing for McCoist. Took it first time when there was really time there to take a touch and have a look at what Walter Zenga was doing in the Sampdoria goal. But McCoist had his own ideas of what he wanted to do there. Rangers making a change, and it's Gazza coming off. Another great contribution from the big signing, and the supporters love it. On come Moore and Mikhailichenko. There's Craig Moore. Seedorf. Yet another Sampdoria move breaks down. Trevor Stephen to McCall. Durant with Cleland out wide. There is Alec Cleland. Turns inside Valeri. Does well. Mikhailichenko. Cleland again. Well, he has scored one or two spectacular goals for Dundee United in the past. And that would have been some finish if he'd put that one on target. Valeri. Chiesa. Well, it's all patient stuff, but they're not really getting through the Rangers' defence. Here's another attempt. Again it breaks down. Trevor Stevens back to collect. Mikhailichenko. McCall. Mikhailichenko wants it again. Durant, though, dispossessed by Manini. Now Mikhailichenko and Cleland linking again. McCoist is in the middle. Here's a chance. Brave diving save from Zenga, who seems to have taken a knock in the process. But it was an important interception by him, as Ali McCoist seemed set to put Rangers 2 up. Valeri to Franceschetti. The pass cut out by Mikhailchenko. Here's Mihailovic, we haven't seen too much of him. Eluding Mikhailchenko. Pass cut out by Trevor Stephen. Here's Ivani. He struck that well. And Andy Gorham making it look easy. And that was a good save. And it was a good shot. Mikhailchenko. Franceschetti with the challenge, but Mikhailchenko doing well to link with Jury. Here's Ali McCoist. And he scores! Ali McCoist with the all-important second goal for Rangers. And that should make it safe. Vintage finishing from McCoist. He's been written off so many times, but there are lots of goals left in Ali McCoist, and that seems to be the message. Lovely reverse pass from Gordon Jury with the outside of the right foot. McCoist got behind Franceschetti, and a classic finish past Zenga. Richard Gough winning in the air against Maniero. Stuart McCall still full of running at this stage of the match. No one should be too surprised about that. Mikhailchenko. It's McCall again. There's some shirt tugging going on. You can have it if you want it, he says. McCall wants this taken quickly. There's the shot. What a save by Zenga. Stuart McCall's had a fine game, and he was so close there to number 3. Brilliant save by Zenga, not happy with his defence. Rangers have a corner. Trevor Stephen leaves it to Ian Durant. Cleared by Karembau. Richard Gough felt there was some obstruction going on. Mikhailchenko beaten in the tackle. And out comes Sampdoria. First time from Mancini. Cool play by Richard Gough. Cushions it on the chest, and the pass from McLaren. And all the way back from Durant. That was McLaren climbing highest. Stuart McCall puts his foot in the ball, turns. Mikhailchenko had made the run forward, but the flag up for offside. Here comes Sampdoria again with Karembau. Not much happening for him in the middle. In from Valeri. And no challenge from Maniero, so Andy Gorham was able to pick that one out of the air. Trevor Stephen. Beautiful weighted pass from Mikhailchenko. Manini couldn't get there, although he can now. And Valeri. Maniero wasn't too happy about that challenge from behind. Jim McCluskey says play on. Ivani with the touch. Mancini. Haven't seen too much of Roberto Mancini. He was a dangerous customer though. Jury. McCoist. Gordon Jury wants it back. It was a useful tackle from Franceschetti, which was enough to put Jury off. Karembau. The whistle's going around the ground. Rangers fans fancy the final whistle, and now they've got it. In the final, it's Rangers 2, Sampdoria 0. Shirt swapping plans. Ali McCoist with the second goal, which finally killed off the Italians. And Paul Gascoigne back on the pitch. See some well-known faces from Italian football. And before the season is even underway, Rangers taking delivery of some silverware. They beat Steaua Bucharest to get to the final by 4-0. Now they've beaten Sampdoria 2-0 to take the trophy. A McCall, Mikhailichenko and Petric getting a feel of the trophy. Ali McCoist as well, being absolutely delighted. There's even a touch for opposing captain Mancini. And a sweet victory for Rangers against Sampdoria, who of course beat them last season.
The game against Sampdoria gives us a chance to get a little bit of revenge for a defeat in the previous pre-season, and we played very well to get that result there. So overall, that was the really important part of it, because we had changed our tactical way of playing, and it showed the boys that it could be very successful. We are still in the process of making the slight changes to that new system, but the tournament got us off to a great start, and it gave everybody a little bit of confidence going into the season.
Although the tournament went well, all thoughts were on getting to the Champions League. Rangers had again to pre-qualify before their domestic season had begun. It was a tense time, as for the last 2 years Rangers had fallen at the first hurdle.
People look at a manager and think that we were making excuses because we didn't do too well in a couple of seasons before this. I'm not trying to make any excuses. People know, if they've been watching our diary, and exactly the problems that we had going into that game. But we didn't have all these problems for the first game. We went into it having had a good pre-season, and we were fit to go into it. But you can tell in the build-up to that, the tension that gets in amongst your squad of players. It's a very, very tense couple of games you have to play. The outcome of which, you know, financially for each of the clubs that play in it, sets them up for the season. So the importance of these matches, not only just in the football sense, but in the financial sense for the club, weigh very heavily on everybody. And what you see in these games is some scrappy performances, and that's not just from a Rangers point of view. I've had videos now of some of the other games, Steaua Bucharest playing Casino Salzburg and things like that, and the game there showed an awful lot of tension. Players sent off in the early part of the first match. That type of thing was happening all over the place, and there was some teams, for Anderlecht for instance, were knocked out by Ferencváros in the early part, which was a big shock. So, I mean, that kind of thing happens most of the seasons. You have to be on top of your game, but you also have to encounter and overcome a great deal of tension that is not there in any other match that I've ever been involved in.
Rangers' confidence was high before the home leg against Cypriot champions Anorthosis Famagusta. But the opposition had recently bolstered their side with new signings including Bulgarian stars Todorov and Kyriakov. The game at Ibrox was an untidy affair, with both teams coming close in the early stages. It wasn't until the second half that Rangers established their superiority.
You just wonder about Paul Gascoigne in terms of stamina, the number of games he's played in recent seasons, and he certainly got that ball through. Jury! Yes! Gordon Jury scores for Rangers! Well, it was good play by Stuart McCall. Jury took a touch on it and drilled the ball under the goalkeeper. It's Rangers 1 and Anorthosis 0.
The second leg in Cyprus, Rangers with a 1-goal advantage, and they thought they'd got off to a dream start here, and Charlie Miller was pulled down in the box. That looked like a penalty, but the referee didn't give it. A Gordon Petric free kick picked out the head of skipper Richard Gough, couldn't quite direct the header away from the goalkeeper. Another free kick, this time taken by Ian Durrant, not too well cleared, and Charlie Miller on the volley, just a couple of feet too high. The 19-year-old had a superb game on the night, and he wasn't far off target with this effort. Miller found himself with another goal-scoring opportunity blocked by the keeper, and Ian Durrant's lob causing problems almost over the line. Anorthosis had one or two chances, but when they came their way, Andy Gorham was in fine form, tipping this one over the bar. 0-0 on the night, 1-0 in aggregate, and Rangers into the Champions League.
I knew it would be an awkward tie, but I was quite confident that we could defend well, because we had been defending well, right through our pre-season games. So I was quite confident in that. But even at that, as it sits at 0-0, and you've only got the one goal with which you're in front, going into the last 20 minutes was very nervy indeed. I don't normally sit in the dugout a lot, and one of the reasons is that I feel that when you're sitting in there, you get caught up in the match a great deal. You know, everybody's going around, substitutes, and you know, assistant manager and coach are all jumping up and down as Archie and Dodgy normally do in these matches. So you're inclined to get involved in that. I like to try and detach myself a little bit. European matches, it's not always possible to do that. It's not as easy as it is at Ibrox. So I was down there, and you do get involved in that kind of thing. And it was a very tense last quarter an hour when we were there, remembering the fact that Todorov, who had moved from Levski Sofia to Famagusta, had scored in the very last seconds of the game when we played in Bulgaria. So therefore, that was always in the back of your mind. And it was just a relief to us at the end when we blew the whistle and we were into the Champions League. But in getting through, you know, that was one hurdle over with. And I'm sure when we look at the standard of teams that we're playing, supporters themselves look forward to that standard of team coming to play. Borussia Dortmund and Juventus are among the top 4 seeds. They're among anybody's favourites to win this year's European Cup. So we've been thrown in along with them, and it delights me that we are, because they're games that I look forward to. We're being paired against, you know, the best teams in Europe. And for our team, which is, we've got a lot of new players coming into our team, it gives a good test for us to see exactly how we're doing. So we're confident that after doing well in the pre-season games, we can go and play. It'll be a different type of game entirely from the 2 preliminary games that we had to play. So we'll look forward to them. And Rangers supporters, I think, should look forward to them, because they're seeing a standard of player that we rarely get the opportunity to see. I can't wait for it, but the thing about us is we've got games in between that I'm sure we want to win. We've got a wee League Cup tie at Parkhead that we have to play in between these games, and I'm sure, like myself, everybody wants to win that one as well. So we're looking forward to our next couple of months.
And that, I'm afraid, is just about it for this, the third of our Rangers Television video diaries. But have no fears, because later in the season, we'll all be able to enjoy video diary number 4. And with so much good football coming up in the near future, both in our domestic competitions and in Europe, that's going to be a bumper of a tape. So keep your eyes peeled for Rangers video diary number 4. I'm glad you watched this one. It was great having your company. We'll see you for the next one. Bye-bye.